Hi guys, how are you? They asked me if I wanted a chair on the stage, and I said no, because I'm coming down there to hang out with you guys. Can we turn the house lights up? Do we have house light capability? See if I break my leg when I do this. Yeah, how are you? I love Louisville. I'm so happy you guys are here. I have to tell you a fun story on how I got here. My mom loved my dad, and oh wait, that's a different how I got here story. I was at a show yesterday in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. It's beautiful, y'all. And I just said y'all. It's great, and I was only down there for the day. And I was supposed to fly from there here. I jumped off the stage before. Are we allowed? Can we turn the house lights up? Are we able? We can't? We don't have the power. Wow, your video guy is going to hate me because I'm in the dark. But I want to hang out with you. Is that okay? I mean, you know, that's kind of weird up there. It's like you're testifying before Congress or something, you know? It's like under the spotlights. I just like coming down here and chatting with you guys. So I was at this show yesterday, and I was supposed to fly here last night and get in around 11:30, midnight. So when I started this autograph session in Pigeon Forge, it just kept going and going, and Energizer Bunny going. And it became very obvious that I was probably going to just have to walk away from everybody if I was going to catch my flight in Knoxville. And I was like, oh, there's nothing worse than walking away from people, you know, that have been standing there for hours. So I turned to the guy that was running the show and I said, hey, quick question. How long does it take to drive from here to Louisville? And he's like, 4.5 hours. I was like, what? It takes longer than that for me to fly. Like, I had to go through Charlotte, right? And then to get here. So I was like, you know what? If you could just get somebody to drive me there, let's just blow off the flight, and I'll stay here and sign for the rest of the night, and then get on a car and drive here. So, and what's funny is we got here at the same time as if I had flown. So it worked out really good, except it was raining a little bit, so that slowed us down a little bit. But I am so happy to be here. Are you guys enjoying Louisville Supercon? Yeah. I got to tell you, I've heard some really great stories. This is like the first Supercon here, isn't it? Can I ask you guys a question? Somebody told me, somebody on staff said, I think maybe the people that live in this area didn't think this was really going to happen. Like that the people wouldn't show, the celebrities weren't going to show up, and nothing was going to be ready. But Supercon does it right, y'all. And I said y'all again. I've done a lot of Supercons, and the people that run the shows are amazing, and I'm so excited to be here with you guys. Before we get started, let me. I told you, you hate me, don't you? She's like, I shouldn't have to work this hard. Look at her. Before we get started, and I want to take questions and talk to you guys about anything you like, I'm working on a lot of new stuff right now. Oh my gosh, let's talk about the first thing that's really exciting right now, and that's the Dragon Ball movie that's coming out. Y'all, it's awesome. Without giving anything away, I will tell you that this film is really fantastic. I am so excited. You know, I've played Broly for 15 years. 3 movies, 13 video games. And I always thought, wouldn't it be nice if he actually was canon? You know, if he actually came into canon and was part of the actual Prime universe, so to speak. And when I heard that they were doing this movie, I was so excited, and then I didn't get called for a while. And I thought, oh, no. Don't you, somebody would have to die. I mean, don't you dare not let me play Broly after all this time. So I was very, very excited that I'm playing Broly again. The movie's great. For those of you that don't know much about Dragon Ball, The Broly movies that came out years ago, those were not Toriyama's story. Toriyama, who created Dragon Ball, that wasn't his Broly. Somebody else did those, and it was never his backstory for Broly. But this one is Toriyama's story for Broly. And I got to tell you, it's an actually really great story. You know, when you think of Dragon Ball, you think of fighting, right? You think of battling and competition and fight, Super Saiyan, power up, over 9,000, all that stuff, right? But this movie that's coming out is an amazing story. And I think you're just going to love it. The action's obviously fantastic because it's Dragon Ball. But the story is really great. Broly's actually got a backstory. He didn't even really have much of one before. So I love this new Broly. Also working on Ruby. Ruby fans here? Love it.
Oh, yeah. We like Uncle Crow. Uncle Crow, how you doing, y'all?
See, even Uncle Crow says, y'all. I'm so glad to be here with all the Ruby main girls, too. If you haven't gotten the chance to see them downstairs, go say hello. And Ruby is really getting interesting, if you're following it. Season 6. Last week, I just recorded the last few episodes of Crow for Season 6. You want to know what happens? I'm not going to tell you anyway. I just wondered if you wanted to know. Working on Free. Notice how there are no guys in that. Did you hear that? It was like you say Free and they, but no guys. Guys, what's up? Thank you. Do you own a Speedo bathing suit? Well, go get a new one. I love Free. I love Free, and I love my little shark boy, Reen. And 2 movies that we finished, and then a new season of the series, and I think there's more coming, pretty sure. Let's see, what else am I working on? Oh, thank you, God. I don't pay you enough. Twin Star Exorcist is a really cool show. Bungo Stray Dogs is a great show. Oh, my gosh. I play this character named Rampo. He's really fun. Let's see, what else? There's a new season of Full Metal Panic. No, see, you jumped too soon. She's so cute. I went Full Metal, and she went, what? Full Metal Panic. Oh. Full Metal Panic, I did like 15 years ago, you guys. And played a character named Kurtz Weber. Kurtz, baby. And he was so much fun. But I never imagined that would come up again, you know? Didn't think that would show up again, but here it is. And you know the best part about anime is that you can bring a show back 15 years later and the characters look exactly the same. They haven't changed, even though we have. So, what else? Oh, has anyone ever seen a show? I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to talk about this show yet. So if I'm not, I'm going to be very vague. All right? Has anyone ever heard of a show called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? Okay, now I'm not saying I'm in it. I'm just asking you if you've heard of it, because I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about it yet. So I'll let you figure that one out. Pardon me? It could be a JoJo reference. Yes, it could. Let's see, what else? Okay, real quick, you guys. Last year, I directed a show at Funimation that I'm so proud of. It was such a great show. I love you! Who said that? I love you! I'm coming back to hug your head. Dude, meet me halfway. Did you enjoy it? Wasn't it a great show?
I didn't see it coming.
Wasn't it, right? Check out Junie Tyson, you guys. Junie Tyson Zodiac War. what a great show. It's like 12 episodes. It was one of their simuldubs. I actually moved to Dallas for 3 months and lived in a hotel to direct every day for Funimation. And this show is so great. It's got so many wonderful voice actor friends of mine, Colleen Clinkenbeard and Caitlin Glass and Jerry Jewell and Ian Sinclair and so many great. It's such a wonderful story. If it were a crappy story, I wouldn't tell you it was a wonderful story. Because then you'd come back to the next Louisville Supercon and go, you lied to me. So I'm not lying. It's a great show. And just like he said, you don't see the ending coming. It's really neat. These 12 warriors, each representing a different side of a sign of the Chinese zodiac, are brought together every, is it 12 years, I think? Every 12 years, they send a representative. And these 12 warriors come together in this city, and they literally shut the city down and make everybody evacuate the city, and the city becomes the battlefield. And they're stalking each other, and only one of them can win. And it's like a proxy battle, you know what I mean? So rather than 100,000 people going to battle, going to war, you pick one guy for you, and this picks it, and they fight. And who wins determines the outcome for the next several years. But what's really fascinating about it, you guys, is that they get into the backstory. Each episode focuses on a different character, a different warriors. And they all have their own skills and their own particular tools that they use and how they fight. And you find out more about what makes them tick and why they do the things they do and how they became these jaded, warriors and assassins that they are. It's really amazing. Am I right? It's such a great show. Check it out. I'm so proud of it because it was the first show that I directed in its entirety. As far as what I'm working on, I would be remiss not to mention my lifelong passion, Star Trek. So I apologize. I know this is an anime-related panel, but I got to talk about Star Trek. I can't not talk about it. When I was a little kid, it was all Star Trek all the time. My mother, I drove her insane. I did. I would lock myself in my room, and I would build little communicators and phasers and watch Star Trek and build models and destroy my furniture, trying to turn it into bridge pieces. And I would even make costumes. And my mom, I would try to make my mom help me with costumes. And finally, she got so tired of it, she's like, look, I'm going to teach you how to use my sewing machine because I don't want to make any more Star Trek costumes for you. In fact, she used to call it Star Trash. Can you believe that? I mean, talk about scarring a young child. So, you know about that? So she taught me to use a sewing machine, and I started making my own costumes, and I would go to conventions just like this, wearing my little Star Trek uniform, playing Captain Kirk, and going and meeting the actors like Walter Koenig, who's here, and Bill Shatner, who's here. People that I was a fan of when I was like 12, I used to go to, you guys may not know this, the word Comic-Con is pretty much a generic word nowadays, right? Comic-Cons, everybody's heard of Comic-Con. You know how Comic-Cons began? Star Trek. Did you know that? There didn't used to be pop culture conventions like this. Back in late 1973, a bunch of fans got together and decided that they were going to have a Star Trek convention, and they were going to invite some of the actors from the show, and literally, that's how these kind of conventions began. Exactly. I'm with you, girl. Absolutely. So fast forward many decades. We won't talk about how many. And about 5 years ago, I started a web series. I wanted to fulfill my childhood dream and make a Star Trek episode just like the ones I remember when I was a little boy. The ones that had a story, a powerful message, a theme, a point to make about something important. Not just, firing phasers and beaming down and fighting Klingons. No. That's not what Star Trek, that's not what the real classic Star Trek was about. So I made an episode. I put so much money into rebuilding the entire soundstage from the original series. We rebuilt every inch of the original soundstage. And then I brought a bunch of my friends together, and we shot one episode, and I got to fulfill my childhood dream of playing Captain Kirk as an adult instead of a 80-pound 12-year-old. So we made this one episode, and we put it out on the internet, and people really responded to it. They really enjoyed it. It was actually a sequel to an original series episode. How many of you remember an original Star Trek episode that you saw once upon a time with the Greek god Apollo? You guys remember that episode? Well, the guy that played Apollo, his name is Mike Forrest. Our first episode was called Pilgrim of Eternity, and it was a sequel to that episode, and Mike Forrest reprised his role as Apollo in our episode. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful story, and after we put it out, people really enjoyed it, so we decided to start making more. Today, as we stand here and sit here together, we've made 11 full-length episodes, hour-long, full-on productions that look and sound and feel just like the original series of Star Trek. And the best part is they're all free to watch. See, somebody here's probably thinking, okay, now when's he going to tell me what the subscription is and how much it's going to cost me? Nothing. StarTrekContinues.com. Go to that website and you can watch all 11 episodes for free. This is my love letter to Star Trek. This is my way of saying thank you for inspiring me to do so many things that I do professionally today that when I was little, I never had a clue that I could do. Acting or making props or shooting a little movie. I would round the kids in the neighborhood up at 12 years old, make them wear the uniforms that I had made, and make little Star Trek episodes at 12. So now I'm getting to do it for real. And we've got so many wonderful guest stars. John Delancey downstairs is one of our guest stars. We've got guest stars from Battlestar Galactica, Doctor Who, Star Wars, Buffy, Buck Rogers, The Incredible Hulk. Lou Ferrigno is even in one of our episodes. Check it out, StarTrekContinues.com. It finishes the 5-year mission of the Enterprise. You remember at the beginning of every show, Captain Kirk used to say what? These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. It's 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life, new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before. Well, they were canceled their 3rd year. And the next time you saw those characters was 10 years later in Star Trek: The Motion Picture. But by then, everybody had gone their separate ways. Kirk wasn't even the captain of the ship anymore. He took a desk job. And Spock went back to Vulcan. And Dr. McCoy quit altogether. So my thought was, let's fill that gap. Let's pick up right where the original series was canceled, as if it never ended, and just keep going and finish the 5-year mission. Return the Enterprise to Earth and create a beautiful story to explain why all those characters are where they are when the motion picture picks them up. It's beautiful. And you know what the most beautiful thing about it is? It's pure love. It's pure passion. See, we don't own Star Trek, so we can't sell Star Trek. But that's not why we made it. We made it for love, to pay tribute. So there's not a penny being made. We just made it because we loved it and put it out for people to enjoy. We've got over 10 million viewers now, and we've won 24 awards, and I would be very, very honored if you guys would check it out. And even if you don't like Star Trek, I bet somebody in your family does. I bet your dad does, your mom. So go home and tell them about Star Trek Continues, okay? StarTrekContinues.com. Okay. Are you the doctor? No, you're Sherlock. Or are you the doctor? You could be both. Let's take a question. Yes, sir. Do you have a question?
Yes, sir.
Right here. Ask so everybody can hear you.
Okay. Remember when you played Shingo Shoji of the Miyogi Night Kids?
Oh my gosh. Was that the
Initial
the
D.
car show? Yes,
Yes.
Initial D. Yes.
Was that the only villain role you've ever
Oh my
done?
goodness, no. Oh dude, no. I've played so many bad guys. So many bad guys. I played a lot of really creepy bad guys too.
Not to be compared with Alice Cooper, I guess.
No, he's pretty awesome though. No, I've done a lot. I've done over 300 different animated series and video games. And there are plenty of villains in there, I promise you. I don't even want to think about some of them. They're pretty creepy. But they're fun to play. Thank you so much. Thanks. Yes, sir.
As Broly, what was your favorite line, and could you say it?
What was my favorite line as Broly? You mean from the new movie?
Either one.
Well, from the old movie, my favorite line was Kakarot, because that's pretty much all he says. Right?
Yeah.
I always tease people. I'm like, you know what? I memorized every line that Broly ever said. Kakarot. There, I said it. That's it. I'm not going to say it because I love you, and I don't want to hurt you. But the new movie, he actually talks.
Like a lot?
It's brilliant. I can't believe it. He actually talks. And it's really, really good stuff. I'm not even, what's your name?
Colton.
Colton, I promise you, you're going to love the new movie, and you're going to love the new Broly. He's actually, there's so much more dimension to the character than there was before. He didn't have much before. You know, that whole idea about because there was a baby crying in the crib next to him, he kind of went crazy and decided to become this homicidal maniac. Nah, I'm not buying it. You know, it's kind of a lame backstory, you know? But it wasn't Toriyama's story.
Yeah.
The new one is, so I think you're going to enjoy it. Thank you, Colton.
Really excited.
Yes, sir.
Through all the years that you played as Broly, what was your overall favorite scene out of everything?
Through all the years that I played Broly, what was my favorite scene? Probably the one where I said Kakarot.
Yeah. There we go.
No, can I tell you something? What's your name?
Casey.
Casey, can I tell you something funny?
Yeah.
Every time I go in to record a new video game, I just start laughing. Because here's the script on the screen in front of me, and it's literally Kakarot, 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 die Kakarot. Where are you, Kakarot? Kakarot, 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 Kakarot. I mean,
Yeah.
and I almost laugh because I'm like, how many ways can you say Kakarot? I've already said it 10,000 ways. And I'm like, well, if they want to pay me to come back and do another game, I'll do it. But don't tell anybody. They probably have all of this stuff in a folder somewhere in a database. But not the new guy. The new guy is really great.
Yeah.
You're going to love him. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Hey there.
Hey, so we're obviously here like geeking out and nerding over you, but what things do you geek and nerd out about?
Star Trek. You know what? I'm going to say something. Star Trek and Star Wars is a very close second place.
Oh, I love Star Wars.
Because, you know, Star Wars kind of followed on. I'll tell you, did you guys know? Did you know that they were going to make another Star Trek series, another Star Trek television series? Did you know that? In the mid-'70s, they were gearing up to make Star Trek Phase 2. And do you know why they changed? The last minute, they stopped and they made Star Trek the motion picture. Do you know why? Star Wars. Because Star Wars had just come out and it had done so well, and Paramount was like, well, hey, we got this space show. Let's make a movie of our own. And they completely threw aside the series idea, TV series, and went with the motion picture. But man, I love me some Star Wars. The classic. The classic. I'm a real fan of the original, and I've had the opportunity to do a couple of conventions with Mark Hamill and David Prowse. Oh my gosh, I'm going to tell you, talk about a nerd out moment. Okay, here's my geek out moment. I was at a convention in London signing autographs, and David Prowse was there. Now, you guys know who David Prowse is? Darth Vader. This is the guy that was Darth Vader in the original movies. So the 12-year-old in me is nerding out, right? I'm like, oh, it's David Prowse right there. you know? So I'm at my table, and I hadn't even gotten the chance to talk to him. And I'm signing, and suddenly I look over, and David Prowse is standing, like about 10 feet away, looking at my banner that has my name and has a picture of Ed. It said Full Metal and whatever. And he's standing there like this. And I'm watching him. I'm like, hi, how are you? Thanks for coming. Oh, thank you. I love Full Metal. What's your name? And I'm just watching, right? I'm watching. David Prowse is like, look. So suddenly, I have to say something, right? Like, the fan in me has to say, like, why is he standing there 10 feet away? And this is my chance. He's not at his table. I'm going to go say hello. So I walk over to him. I said, excuse me 1 second, to the people at the table. And I went over and said, hey, Mr. Prowse, how are you? And he goes, hello, hello. What the hell is Full Metal Alchemist? Only he didn't say hell. He said the F dash 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 word. But it was so funny, and I stood there and told him all about the story, right? And again, I'm telling him about it, and we're just talking like two guys, but inside, the 12-year-old little Victor Mignon is going, ah! You know what I mean? Yeah. You're talking to Darth Vader right now. When I was a little kid, I went to Star Wars conventions and got his autograph. I mean, I've been very, very blessed. I have been blessed way beyond what I deserve, you guys, to get to do the things that I do. And you know what? I am so thrilled to meet all of you. You guys have been such an enormous blessing and such a gift in my life. When I started voice acting, I didn't know that anything would ever come of it. I mean, I was living in Houston, Texas. People don't go to Houston to become stars. You know what I mean? That's not the place you go to get into acting. I was living there, writing music and doing video and film production work, and sorry. And every time I go past her, she's like, doggone it. And I have to swing around. I was living there, and a friend of mine that I was working on a video production with said, hey, you should go and audition for this place in town. You do acting, don't you? You've done a lot of acting, haven't you? And I said, yeah. And she said, you ought to go and audition for this place in town called ADV Films. She said, they buy these Japanese animated shows, and they dub them into English, and they're looking for actors. Well, all I heard was, they're looking for actors, right? Because I loved acting. And I didn't ask them how much it paid. I didn't ask, oh, well, how is this going to be distributed? You know, what's my percentage? No. I just, oh, I could act in something? Okay. And when I was a little kid, I loved Speed Racer. I loved anime. I just didn't even know it was anime, actually, at the time. I just knew it was weird. I mean, good weird, you know. So I started doing it, and I never had any clue that anything would ever come of it. I mean, I figured these companies that make it probably sell it, right? Because how could you do it? How could you continue to make it if you didn't sell the last show to make money to make the next show? And how do you pay your bills, right? I mean, if you don't sell it. So I assumed they sold it, but I didn't really know much about it at all. And we're talking about 20 years ago, when anime was much smaller, is a much more of a little niche culture. But I would have never imagined in a billion lifetimes that it would grow into what it has grown into. And I don't want to scare anybody talking religion or anything, but I am so grateful to God that he gave me the chance to do what I do. I always promised him that I would give credit where credit is due, because I didn't do anything. I did nothing. A door opened, you know, and I walked through, and we're here today, and I'm getting to meet all of these beautiful people all over the world. So I am extremely grateful, and thank you guys for your support and your kindness for my work over the years. Sorry, that got all heavy. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Yes, sir. Question.
Hello, Vic. Well, first off, I wanted to pretty much start it off with Diff Total Hismusma.
Oh, you're speaking Klingon.
Oh, not Klingon.
No, Vulcan. You know Vulcan? Dude, you are my hero.
My dad was a Trekkie, so
I love it.
I love it. So I had to research just for him.
You're a good kid. You're a good kid.
Well, of course. My dad and my brother pretty much got me into the fantasy world.
Excellent.
But your voice actually brought up. I've been mostly getting through the video games side of your voicing. So I have pretty much Dynasty Warriors 7, 8, and 9. So
Nice.
pretty much I know Jiashu and Zhao Ba for your voice. But my question for you is, when it comes to voice acting for gaming and voice acting for anime, is that what's the challenge between?
What a great question. You know, there are a couple of real significant differences between voice acting for a video game and voice acting for like an anime series. The first one is that anime series take a long period of time, especially if it's a show like One Piece, or or Dragon Ball Z, or something that just goes on forever. You could be playing that character for years and years and years. Whereas most video games happen in like a week. You'll go in, they'll cast you for this video game, and you'll go in and you'll spend like 2 or 3, 4 days, 5, 6 hours a day, and you'll knock out that video game, and once the game is done, it's done. So that's one difference. It takes much longer usually to record an anime series than a game. Another one is that games tend to include a lot more fighting, a lot more in-game sounds, because, ultimately the point of a game, right, are the challenges and the competition and the battling and stuff. So you have to record every conceivable sound that the character might make. You'll get a script and it will literally say, small punch, medium punch, large punch, kicked in the gut, kicked in the head, kicked in both gut and head. Falling from 10 feet, falling from 100 feet, burned alive. I mean, everything possible. And what's funny is every one of those things that I just listed, you don't just do it one time. You do every one of them like 4 times. Because how boring would a video game be if every time your character got hit, it sounded exactly the same? I mean, it was the same file. It was like, I mean, that gets old, right? Really quick. So you'd record like, just several different versions, and then they'll use different ones to vary up the sounds as you're playing the game. Another thing is that usually anime series only have one story. Video games have multiple story arcs, right? So depending on what you choose, it'll take the story in a different direction. So you, as the voice actor, you have to record all of those possible scenarios of what's going to happen to the character. You don't have that in an anime series. Awesome question. Thanks, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Live long and prosper.
Peace and long life.
I love that guy. Yes, sir.
Hello. Oh my
Hello.
God. My voice is awful.
No, it's not. It's beautiful.
You're a liar.
Will you say something for me? Get up really close to the mic. Come with me. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination.
I feel really uncomfortable.
I
right
know. I know. That's what I was going for. Here, get up really close. See how look at my mouth. Look how close my mouth is to the mic. Come up really close, and I want you to say something for me, will you?
Everybody's gonna share
No,
this
no,
one.
no. Don't touch it.
I'm
Just
not.
get close. Just get close.
Hello.
Getting better. A little closer.
Hello.
Okay, now I want you to say something very quietly. You ready?
Yeah.
This is people are gonna love this. You ready?
Yeah.
I want you to say, "Welcome to the host club." See that? You wait till wait. Here it comes. Here it comes. Go.
Welcome to the host club.
Yes! Yes! You are a superstar! Up high. Yeah, man. See, wasn't that fun? They love you. And now you're a host. Long live the poor. Okay, what's your question?
It's kind of an A and B kind of question.
Okay, well, let's start with A.
All right. How long can you hold your breath? Oh my God, I just said that out loud and it sounds so awful.
No, it sounds great.
No,
I promise you have a great voice. Am I right? These people are not liars. I know all of them personally, and they're not liars. How long can I hold my breath?
All right.
Not long enough. I can promise you that.
That made me feel really good.
I'm glad, because you can hold Gerald a long time, right? You know what? When I was doing the Broly stuff, and he's got to yell for like 6 seconds, you can't do it. I can't do it. I mean, I'll scream bloody murder, and I'll just peter out after about 4 seconds. And the director's like, hey, dude, you got to go longer than that. So I can't. That's all I got. But yeah, I don't hold my breath very well.
All right.
What's your B question?
I wanted you to yell Kakarot as loud as long
Yeah,
as you
see,
can.
that's what I was afraid of. I want you to yell Kakarot as loud as you can. Can you do it?
Kakarot!
Now, what's your name?
Cameron.
Cameron, I'm going to do to you what the directors do to me. That was pretty good. I need it to be a little longer. So, hold on. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you the same beeps that we get. Boop, boop, boop. And right where that fourth beep is, that's where you start. And I want you to build it. I want you to start small and build up to the final syllable, Kakarot, and hold it. 3 seconds. Ready? Boop, boop, boop.
Kakarot!
You're hired.
Please?
You will be my stunt Broly. Oh my gosh, can I tell you a stunt story? A stunt yelling story. Okay, can I tell you guys something? I don't like yelling. I know you're like, really? Like Ed Short Rants? Broly, Kakarot, you don't like yelling? No, I really don't. I prefer not to. But characters sometimes necessitate it, right? So, years ago, did anyone ever see the Iron Man anime? You see it? Iron Man anime? Did you see it, Cameron?
I heard of an Avengers anime.
Okay, there was an Iron Man anime. Did you like it? Okay, here's my story. Now remember, in the back of your mind, Vic hates yelling. Vic hates yelling. So I auditioned for this Iron Man anime, and I was this close to getting cast as Tony Stark. Until an actual celebrity decided he wanted to play Tony Stark. It was some guy from like Heroes or Supernatural. It was one of the shows that was on at the time, and it was really big and popular. And so the producers are like, well, let's get that guy, you know, because he's famous. And who's this guy? So they brought this guy in to play Tony Stark, okay? So Cameron, weeks later, they cast me to play this bad guy in the Iron Man series. So I'm in this scene with Tony Stark. And the celebrity guy who actually voiced Tony Stark, he had already recorded, so I could hear his voice, right? He'd already recorded his part. So I could hear him, and then I would answer him like I was having a conversation with him. At one point in the recording session, Cameron, the guy playing Tony Stark, you hear him, they play his line, and I'm supposed to respond with my line. But just for the fun of it, I don't know what got into me, but just for the fun of it, I repeated his line. Exactly like he did it, like I tried to imitate him. And this is what I saw when I looked over into there's a glass window here, right? Into the control room. And all the producers and stuff are sitting in the glass room, sitting at the counter, at the control table. And I did the line. He said, I don't think you can make it. And I said, I don't think you can make it. And the producer goes, and she goes, was that you? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I just messing around. Sorry. I thought they were going to kill me right now, right? And she goes, can you hold on a minute? And she let her finger off the intercom button. And I'm like, they're going to kill me. They're planning how they're going to kill me in the control room right now. So they're talking. And then suddenly the director puts his finger back on the intercom button. He goes, hey, Vic. The guy who's voicing Tony Stark, he doesn't like to yell. You know, he's not really good at the yelling fighting sounds. And, you know, you sound a lot like him. So we want to go to this scene where Iron Man is fighting this guy. And we want you to do all of his sounds. So I did, and they liked it. And so every time Iron Man fights in that whole flippin' show, it's me yelling and screaming. The one thing that I like, I'll do it if I need to, but I was actually, Cameron, I was reduced to being a stunt yeller for this Iron Man guy. So I'm going to beg off the Kakarot because I probably couldn't do it any better than you could either. So you were amazing. Give it up for Cameron. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Vic.
And Cameron, let me know when you start a host club because you're going to have a lot of attendees, I think. Hi.
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 How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. Have you had a favorite pet during your childhood? And if so, would you want to have it again?
Are you asking me because you know the answer? Are you fishing for a question?
Maybe.
Fishing for an answer. You gave the question. Yes, I should not spend too much time telling my Sherman story. Is that what you're talking about? I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it. So you guys, my mom moved to Ocean City, Maryland when I was a senior in high school, right on the beach in Maryland. And I came home for summer break, and I was fishing one night off of the bridge that goes into Ocean City, and I caught a baby sand shark. Like this big. It was the cutest thing you've ever seen. It looked just like Jaws, only it was a baby. You know what I mean? It was like, oh my gosh, I caught her. I have a real shark. And he was so tiny that he couldn't hurt you. You know, like you think sharks, dangerous. Attack, right? Teeth. Not this guy. He was so small, like you put your finger in his mouth and he goes, oh, 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 oh. Can't hurt you. He was so adorable. And I decided I was going to take him home. I'm going to make him my pet. Who's got a pet shark? Do you? Exactly. So I decided that I was going to bring him home. And I got a bucket, and I filled the bucket up with water, and I put him in. I'm like, yep, that's right. I got a pet shark. I don't know if you know, but I've got a pet shark. I'm calling my friends. Yeah, I've got a pet shark. I'm looking at him right now. And I was so proud I had this pet shark. And like 2 or 3 days after I took him home, I walked in one day, you know, and I'm looking down at the barrel that he's in, and he's not moving much. And I said, hey, Sherman. I named him Sherman. Sherman. Hey. Sherman. And he, you know, and he would wake up a little bit, and I was like, what's wrong with Sherman? Then I realized sharks swim in salt water, not bathtub water. So I carried him out to the beach. Fortunately, it wasn't too far. Me and my cousin Robin carried him out in this bucket to the beach, and I was going to let him go, right? Because I didn't want him to die. And so I put him in the surf, and he tried to swim out into the ocean, and he was so tiny and he was so weak that every time the slightest little wave came in, it just pushed him right back into the shore. And I was like, oh no. Sherman! So I picked him up, and I just started walking out into the ocean. Deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper until I was, you know, past where the big waves were coming in. And I said, bye, Sherman, I love you. One more time. And I put him under the water, and he swam away. And he was my favorite pet. I like to think that maybe he's somewhere right now attacking a fishing boat, you know, and remembering his dad. He's my favorite. And I also love beagles. I love beagle doggies. Because when I was a kid, back when I was a little boy, I loved Snoopy. He was the only thing I could draw was Snoopy. I could draw Snoopy on anything. You have a... Oh my gosh. He's adorable. What's her name? Emily. I love it. Have you guys ever seen a pocket beagle? It's a thing. They look just like beagles, but they're really tiny. They're so adorable. They're the cutest things, and even still have big flappy ears like the puppies do. But no, 5 minutes. But when I found out that Snoopy was a beagle, that was when I decided beagles would be my favorite dog. So, thank you, my dear. Thank you. Question?
Hi.
Hi.
First of all, let me say that I love you and like all the work that you do.
Oh, thank
Really big
you.
fan for
I'm
years.
honored. Thank you. What's your name?
Amanda.
Amanda. Say hi to Amanda, everybody. Hi, Amanda. What's your question, my dear?
Well, my favorite animes that you voiced in is Ouran High School Host Club and,
Oh, yes.
and Full Metal Alchemist. So
My two favorites.
if you could trade places with one of the characters that you voiced in the animes, what character would you trade with and why?
Wow. You mean of those two?
Any anime that you voiced.
Wow. That's tough. I mean, it would be fun to be Ed because he's got alchemy powers, right? But he's so dang short. I was talking to somebody downstairs at the autograph session, and he said, I love when Ed does all his short rants. And he said, I really love the one where he's crawling through the vent. Where he's remember that? He's crawling through this duct, and he's like, man, it's actually good that I'm so small. Because nobody could get through there. And then he just stops, and he goes, no, it's not! It's like he just caught himself. What did I just say? And I love Tamaki. I love Tamaki's style. I love how kind he is and how much he loves his host club. It would be hard. All of them have some really wonderful things that I, would love to experience. But what about you? If you could pick one, who would you pick? Not so easy, is it?
Yeah, probably Edward.
Probably Edward? Yeah, I love Ed. I love him a lot. Hey, speaking of Edward, have you guys seen the Full Metal Alchemist live action?
Yes.
Okay, maybe you have, but I'll bet a lot of you didn't know that there is an English dub to it. Go back to Netflix. What? Go back to Netflix. Why is that funny? I'll try it again. See if it works a third time. Go back to Netflix. Stop it now. and click and choose languages. And you'll see that there's an English version of the live action movie. And I got the chance to come back and play Ed, which was so fun. I sat there and bawled the whole time. I'm serious. I'm like, I love this character so much. And the scenes like with Nina, I know, right? And I mean, I know. And some of those scenes, I was like, oh my gosh, it just all coming back to me, how much I loved that show. And also featured in the English dub is Caitlin Glass, who played Winry. And you ready for this one? Here's the best part. Aaron Dismuke, who played Alphonse in the first Full Metal, and then he grew up, and his voice changed. Nasty old puberty took over, and he didn't sound like Alphonse. He went from brother to brother. So he couldn't do the second series. He couldn't do Brotherhood. But as luck would have it, the boys, Ed and Al, in the movie are older, right, than they were in the anime. And so the people that dubbed it were like, hey, older, let's get Aaron to do Alphonse again. So it was like the brothers are back together. It was really very, very special. You guys, I was just given the 1 minute cue. So let me please invite you to come down to the autograph table. Come say hello. If I haven't met you yet, please come down and say hello. I would love to meet you. I'm sure there are a lot of great things in Louisville, but I'm here to meet you guys. So please come down and say hello, okay? Thanks so much for joining me. God bless you guys. Merry Christmas. Take care.